Previously on the Infinite Escape Room.
Could I give my lovely penis a yank, please?
Yanking all the things in this.
Seems bigger than everyone else's.
I didn't spend 7 years in suspiciously sticky.
And put it in.
Oh, good lord.
If you're not drunk by now, shame on you.
Hello, and welcome to the Infinite Escape Room, the puzzling podcast where a gaggle of chums come together, have a drink, and work together to solve a homemade escape room of the ears. I'm Mike, your host, and I am drinking a Boland Brewery Pilsner. It's a very, very nice, clean lager, which I picked up a case of when I was up in Clitheroe last week. Up at their brewery, I was very much taken with it. It was very, very tasty, and Clitheroe itself was absolutely lovely. And joining me this fine summery evening, we have...
I'm Ben Levy-Griffiths, and this week I'm drinking McEwen's Champion, an award-winning premium beer from somewhere, I suppose. Yeah. But it's lovely. I like it. That's why I bought it.
3 years of beer review podcasting.
And I'm John, and I've just noticed for the first time ever, given the amount of episodes we've done, that Mike, whilst he's doing the intro, closes his eyes when he speaks, which is very strange to witness. There's there's an element of sort of him going all zen as he.
Once you notice it, you begin to notice that actually he closes his eyes every time he speaks.
Wow. Has it come to this?
Yeah.
Just don't get him walking and talking because he bumps into all sorts of things.
I am drinking a Tonkoko. I hope I've said that right. Yeah, Tonkoko Milk Stout from Brew York. Here we go. It's actually quite hoppy for a stout, but I'm okay with it. Yeah, that's grand. That's grand. Not too much.
Your initial face said you really couldn't make your mind up about it.
Yeah, it was just slightly unexpected. I've become very, very set about what to expect for a milk stout because that's pretty much what I drink. So every now and again, when one of them wrong foots me even a little bit, I go, oh.
No, I went to the Tiny Rebel Brewery the other day, and I ordered what I thought was an oat milk stout, which I thought, that sounds quite nice, because I imagine it's not oat milk, because it's that milk stout, it just means they shove it with lactose. But it's probably got oats in it, which normally makes it sort of creamy. And I got given this thing that looked like vomit that had the bits filtered out.
Oh, now you're selling it. And
it smelled so sour, which again went with the sort of vomit vibe. Gave it a little sip, and it was foul. And I later realised that it was not a milk stout that I had ordered; it was a milk IPA.
Oh my
which I would just stay away from because IPAs, in my mind, are not
fit for drinking.
Anyway, yes. And this thing fooled me, and I hated it. It was awful. I literally took a sip and left the rest of the pint.
Ben, I'm right there with you. Down with all IPAs everywhere. Burn them all.
I'm going to stand up in defense of IPAs. They're lovely and fruity and hoppy.
That's not an IPA.
Yeah, you're not drinking one. You're waving it around, but that's not an IPA.
Well, I know this is the thing, yeah. At the moment, I'm gravitating more towards lagers. I'm in a real lagery groove at the moment. I'm just really liking nice, clean lagers. I think as much as anything, because like you have one tin of like a really good IPA, and that's it. You're done because it's changed, like the makeup of your stomach acid or something.
Your mouth has sort of imploded on itself.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but for me, the IPA, much like bifold doors and hybrid cars, is just, it's over. Stop it. Just stop it. It's done.
John, there's a lot to unpack in that statement.
We want British beers for British people.
No, I just want...
And petrol engines. No, coal. Back to the Victorian era.
No, electric. And
bifold doors. Won't have doors in the future. Nah. Bit of corrugated iron. That'll keep the Germans out.
Will it keep the cold out, we ask you? Because it's going to be really cold this week.
Today's puzzle, escape the looming energy crisis. I shall say looming. Escape the energy crisis we're currently in. Anyway, sorry, we're massively off topic. But before we get any more off topic, I should first thank our fabulous, lovely, wonderful, glorious, brilliant, smashing, fantiblioso, biscuit-flavoured patrons. And in particular, 3 of them, Jade Shaw, Tonya Beatty Harvelson, and Maggie B. Thank you so much yourselves specifically, and to all of our patrons less specifically, for helping to keep the show on the metaphoric road, the blather in our giblets, and
the corrugated iron over the gaping hole in our house.
Yes. Yes, God, if ever there was a metaphor for Brexit. Anyway, what is the Infinite Escape Room? You could well be wondering at this point. Well, let me tell you. It's like any regular escape room you may be familiar with. However, unlike other escape rooms, which are made of matter, like, ephemeral stuff, what you can touch and fondle and twiddle with your thumbs, this one happens purely in neurons in your head and between your ears and our mouths and some internet. That's right. It's an audio escape room of the ears delivered. Oh, thanks for that, Ben. Delivered via the internet, podcast form. I've just explained what a podcast is very complicatedly. It's an audio escape room of the ears. Each week, one of us creates an escape room and the others will try and solve it. If they can't escape within the allotted period of time, then they will lose and terrible bum-smellingly felchy things will happen to them. Every room in the Infinite Escape Room links into the next in one big, never-ending escape experience adventure. Anyway, are you ready, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yes.
Then let us enter the Infinite Escape Room. Last time, you could feel time slow down as you spoke the intro to the podcast. You could almost see your words as sound waves travelling into the microphone, through the cable, and into the tape recorder. The buzzing of the fluorescent lights got louder as the lights got brighter and brighter. Soon, you were surrounded by blistering whiteness. As the light returns to normal, you could hear the cawing of seagulls above you.
Blistering whiteness. We must be in Margate.
And the warmth of water... and the warmth of a lovely turd floating past. And the warmth of water at your feet and the pinch of rubber beneath your back. You had rebooted the universe, but without a tangible location to grab onto, it had dumped you in the middle of the ocean, with nothing but a bag of chips and an oversized inflatable pool ring for company. You drifted along for several hours, and you've had a well-deserved nap. You wake up, and you eat the chips. They're a little bit soggy, and they've gone sweaty in the bag. You toss the rest of the bag overboard, and are surprised to see a very large crocodile snap them out of the air before bibbling back beneath the water.
I don't think there's ever been some nice food on the Infinite Escape Room. Every time food gets mentioned, it's terrible. If it's chips, they're soggy. If it's like a burger, it will be dry. It's never good.
There are definitely certain foods that should be sweaty, though. Like a pork pie should be sweaty.
No, that's a sign of a bad pork pie, surely.
Pork pie should be sweaty, as should corned beef sandwiches.
Disagree on both counts, but okay, sure.
I mean, there shouldn't be corned beef sandwiches at all. Like,
that is, as a vegetarian, that is one of the things I miss.
how?
Corned beef and English mustard sandwiches.
That would turn me vegetarian, the prospect of a corned beef sandwich. All the bits of a cow the cow didn't want. You look around you. The sea appears to have washed you into some sort of river. And someone has spoilt what otherwise would have been a lovely desert skyline with a lot of very big stone triangles.
The sea has washed us into a river. Mike, are you aware how rivers work?
The tide has washed you into a river, a tidal river. Are you happy, John?
Could be the River Severn, because that is tidal.
Fine.
And I won't check to see if this particular river is tidal.
Is it a real river?
It's not the River Severn, then.
Well, let me go through the intro and I'll tell you. You might find out. A man on the bank sees you and waves a little bow and arrow in a friendly manner. You pass a lot of reeds, fields of barley, and a lot of very smug-looking cats, and a big sign that says, "Welcome to Alexandria," in Greek, Phoenician, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and, thank God, English, because that's how you read it. Your GCSE in Cockney rhyming slang comes back to you. Crocodile. Adrift in the Nile. Your dinghy comes to rest on the shore. You get out to stretch your legs and look for crispier chips. No chips present themselves, but something shimmering on the horizon catches your attention.
Is it the end of this intro?
Could it be a distant Five Guys, ready to serve you a paper bag of salty wonder? Or perhaps a gaggle of Deliveroo drivers, dabbing their willies into the dip pots of their deliveries? Nope. It appears to be some manner of barbarian horde. An old man grabs you. "Hey, I'm Alexander, so I am, and I'm bloody brilliant."
Oh,
"No, great. Want some heroes? Hummus, eh?" He waves a sword loosely in the air, which is adorned with well-seasoned meat. "Them bloody barbarians is coming, isn't they? Probably wondering if I'll pay back all the money I borrowed from the Visigoths. I'm bloody brilliant, though, so I'll fight them off. But you should hide in here in the meantime." He pushes you inside a nearby stone building and looks in on you. "Oh, don't worry about me. I'm invincible apart from my bloody ankle." He necks a quick pint of tzatziki. and slams the door in front of you. You hear it lock.
Stop.
There's...
Stop.
This-
First
We
of all,
started in Jamaica, and now we're somewhere around London.
I mean, that was like Greek London. Okay. And also, have you mixed up Alexander and Hercules? Sorry, Achilles.
Bear with me for a second.
Okay.
There is silence for a moment. I'll
Oh no, my ankle.
go back to the bit. Don't worry about me. I'm invincible apart from my bloody ankle. Next, a quick pint of Ziki slams the door in front of you. You hear it lock. There is silence for a moment, followed by the sound of a man being punctured by 700 arrows. Oh, hang on. That was Achilles, wasn't it?
Oh.
Then silence. You look at the building into which you have been shoved. There are papyri. A lot of papyri. If you had to guess, you'd say between 40 and 400,000. You may well be in ancient Egypt, in Alexandria, in a library. There's a barbarian horde on its way. You know how this ends. You have 35 minutes before they arrive. And your time starts now. Now, I should very quickly check. Do you guys know what happened to the Library of Alexandria?
I'm guessing it got burned down.
Basically.
That's always what happens to libraries. Always. They never get
barbarian horde.
They never get carefully dismantled and sold, do they? They never get turned into a tasteful cafe. They get burned down.
Could have been, world's greatest library could have been the world's greatest Starbucks.
Okay, what can we see around us?
So I've just got this thing of like how the British government burning down libraries is a bit too sort of obvious for getting them out of public funding. What we'll do is we'll turn them into cafes that we can charge tax on,
and then we won't collect that tax because they're offshore. They're held offshore in Ireland or something. Bloody Starbucks. Sorry,
offshore cafes in your local area.
Yeah.
You joke, but yeah, that's accurate.
Aren't there oil rigs with like McDonald's and things on them?
What?
I thought you said Madonna.
Yeah, that's the one. No, McDonald's. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic. John, looking around, you can see that you're in a large space built from enormous chunks of limestone and illuminated by bright rays of sunlight angled in through a distant roof. You appear to be in the atrium within this space. Now, directly before you are some life-size statues of the Muses. The Greeks like to dedicate their libraries to muses. Also,
all of them, the 4 muses?
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Also, by the way, it's the etymology, museum. Museum comes from. So it's from where they used to dedicate their libraries to muses. To your left is the library proper, which has several long aisles with racks upon racks of papyri. And to your right is the librarian's couch.
Can we investigate the librarian's couch?
You go to the last one. I'm going to scroll down my bloody document now. Okay, you pop over to the librarian's couch. It's your classic sort of Greek/Roman reclining couch. Clearly for the librarian, along with a hand-painted sign reading, "This is Renewals! Fiction and reference, you'll find plenty of both in here."
This is Renewals. Fiction and reference, you'll find plenty of both in here.
They don't appear to be around, though, and have instead left just a rather large, round, brass-polished shield. There's nothing else at all. It's a bit Spartan.
Hey. Very good. Can we pick up the shield?
Yep, sure. It's your classic Spartan shield. It's made of layered brass, wood, and leather, with the brass polished to such a shine that you can see your face all kind of grotesquely stretched in it.
And there was, I bet it's shiny, therefore we could potentially redirect some sunlight going down to the shafts.
Was that it? Did we escape?
Okay.
Maybe if we torch the library first, then
That's the answer. Burn it down before the foreigners get
there was no deposit.
This is true. We have free reign. Can we go back and look at the muses?
So you go back to the atrium and take a look at the statues of the muses, and you see 9 statues of the muses. Contemporary sort of accounts sort of vary on how many there are, but the popular number seems to be 9. They're made of finely carved marble and are themselves on a large marble plinth. Each of the muses has their name and sacred patronage carved into the base.
Okay, list them.
We have Calliope, patron of erotic poetry. Cleo, patron of history. I wish I'd learned how to pronounce these.
Could you put these in the chat, please?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to pronounce them badly first. Euterpe, flutes and music. Thalia, comedy and pastoral poetry. Urania, astronomy. Docope, happyope, sleepyope, and dopiope. No. Sorry. So dopiope is the patron of the 12-page book of instructions you get with paracetamol. Happyope is the patron of Haynes manuals. Sleepyope, patron of learning, and dopiope, patron of tabloid opinion pieces. All but one of the muses is holding an unlit torch, with the exception of Urania, who is holding an amphora to her breast.
What's an amphora?
Kind of like a jar.
Is it empty?
It appears to be sealed. You don't know what's inside. The torches are all held aloft with the exception of the muses, who appear to be asleep, where the torches are instead held at their side. Yes, some of the muses appear to be asleep. And I'm going to give you all of that information in the chat.
And the torches are made of marble.
Yes.
Okay.
But they appear to be unlit, but do appear to have a kind of sort of a torchy torch bit at the end.
Well, like the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, like, the end could torch.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so that is what I'm thinking, is that we might have to use the shield to redirect sunlight onto the torch bits.
You may be right there, Ben. Okay. So Calliope with erotic poetry is asleep. Cleo with history is awake. Euterpe, flutes and music awake. Okay, should we try that? Do you think we could find a shaft of sunlight and see if we can redirect it at one of the sleeping ones?
I guess it with the back of the... Is the back of the shield also shiny?
The back of the shield is indeed shiny. Yes, it's polished to a fine polish.
Well, only because you might be able to get the whole satellite dish.
Oh, with the concave
thing.
Okay, can we give that a try? Can we find a shaft of sunlight? And I don't know. I'm feeling like some erotic poetry personally. So if we could redirect said shaft of sunlight towards Calliope.
Okay, you do so. You go back to the sort of the very much centre of the atrium where the shaft of sunlight is spilling down, and you, as Ben said, hold the concave side of the shield towards that light, collecting and focus it, and shine the focused reflecting bit of light into, was it Calliope's?
Yes.
Calliope's torch. The torch hisses, fizzes, smokes, and bursts into life.
Hey, well done, Ben.
As you light this torch with the mirror, the statue of the muse Urania shivers and sheds fine dust as the mechanisms within whir into life. The eyelids of the marble statue creak open, and the amphora she is holding is lifted aloft, on level now with the torches of the other muses.
Okay. So is Urania awake now?
She now appears to be awake.
Okay. There's one more sleeping muse, and that is appropriate enough, Sleepyope. Should we try and wake her up as well?
I think so.
Okay, let's do the same to Sleepyope.
Okay. You light the torch, and the torch is lit, but nothing happens.
So the amphora that Urania is holding is now held aloft. It's still sealed, though. Yes?
That's correct, yes.
Shall we go and have a look at the library proper?
Yes, why not?
You potter off to have a proper look at the library.
I've just remembered something that I was going to interrupt for earlier, but I thought I'd interrupt now. The only reason that I can spell museum is because of the game Vrystar, because the cheat code was museum. Before I had no idea how to spell museum and got the E in the wrong place.
Oh!
Okay.
How do you spell museum for listeners at home who can't spell museum?
Well, if I had a copy of Vrystar here. Museum.
Cool. I mean, does anybody know any Library of Alexandria stuff? What do people...
I know it was massive, and that's it. I feel we're in terrible danger of being in an actual proper room, Ben.
Ben, do you know much about the Library of Alexandria?
None at all, other than it's all made up.
Well, we'll do a bit of trivia on it.
No,
like Australia, it doesn't really exist.
Well, I mean, Ben's probably not too far off. Like it's definitely mythical. It existed in some way, shape, or form, but it has definitely been bigged up throughout the centuries. It was kind of regarded as just a very quick bit of background knowledge. Alexander the Great obviously went a-conquering and conquered like an absolute shitload of stuff. And
Never lost a battle.
Well, one of the places he ended up, as he went through, he set up lots of sort of cities and outposts and things. And one of the places he did that was Alexandria in Egypt. And it ended up being kind of like a sort of a forward post of Greece, almost. And one of the things that Egypt was great at was producing papyrus. So it became kind of this library where they collected a huge amount of learning, knowledge, and sort of, it was kind of all of a copy of just about everything that had been written down in the day, by all accounts, was there. Now, kind of popular sort of history and mythology says that it was like, this sort of towering, incredible mega thing. And, in reality, it might just have been essentially a kind of big warehouse full of papyri. And it's not a library as we would understand a library either, as in John couldn't just wander in, flash his library card and borrow something. It would have been very much for the rulers and the elites to peruse.
More like some of the more traditional academic libraries where you go there. There are texts that you read while you are there, and you might copy things down from them, but the artifacts never leave that place. Kind
of, yeah. And I think it's also these kinds of libraries were also sort of the early forms of museums as well. So it was you collect interesting things and knowledge and whatnot. It's all anyway. Sorry, I could blather on about this ill-informedly all day. So Ben wants to look at the library proper. So you go over to the library shelves, and there appear to be 3 main aisles. We are in the pre-Dewey Decimal System, and by the way, recently found out Dewey, bit of a dick. Who knew? So everything has been sorted into one of 3 sections. The first is just a few racks of papyri and is labelled Engineering and Mathematics. The second is twice that size and is labelled Philosophy and Mythology. And the final section dwarfs both and stretches out into the far distance, shelves groaning under the weight of the accumulated knowledge of the ancient world. This section is labelled Homosexual Minotaur Erotica.
Of course it is.
The Greeks, they knew what they liked.
Sorry, second, that was philosophy and theology, was it?
Mythology.
Them and the Minotaurs, they were pretty horny.
Ba-dum-ting.
There it is. Ben's just Benny's crossed because he didn't get that one. See his little face come.
No, it's just like that.
Was that beneath even you?
There's a bit of me that was like, that's very obvious. Is there a better one?
Yeah, John, you're too obvious.
I'm sorry. Okay. I mean, all I can think of to do is examine the shelves. I imagine the Minotaur erotica is probably not going to be relevant.
Can we look at the first?
That feels like a bum steer.
That's so good. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Oh, well done. Sorry.
We'll have a look at the first one in that section.
Okay, so you take a look at engineering and mathematics.
No, the Minotaur erotica.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. So yes, so Ben, you follow. A well-trodden path. Good golly, this is not just a well-stocked section, but it's also very well worn. The stones between the shelves have been worn smooth by the passage of many feet in many sandals. And it turns out that the ancient Greeks were very good at being clever and inventing culture, but they were also prolific furry erotica generators.
God.
One particular papyrus sticks out from the rack, which catches your attention. I'm going to put the text of it into the chat now. If one of you would be so good.
Please.
Yeah. Well, if one of you would be so good as to read it.
Can you mimic that accent, John, that Mike did earlier?
No, I cannot. Okay, this is minus the Minotaur. Fuck you, Mike. Okay.
It's pronounced SEXENFELCHIDES, if that's any help.
It's not. SEXENFELCHIDES held the Minotaur. Arse-kissing enveloped their horns a long, intense age. The Minotaur sucked hoof, and the Minotaur never doubted. The Minotaur obliged his gargle obligations dreamily. More overt ravishing extemporized the Minotaur. Okay, so this is definitely some sort of code because this makes no sense.
What do you mean makes no sense? It's incredibly steamy. I've had to put a flannel over myself.
If you look at just the end of lines, it says, long the ravishing Minotaur.
What?
Don't know if that's relevant. Or maybe it's just the wrapping in my Discord.
It is just the wrapping. I'm not getting that at all. I really hope there's nothing to do with the length of lines in this, Michael, because otherwise you have fucked it.
Okay.
Sex and family sound the Minotaur. Ask kissing about the
maybe we should.
It's not better when you read it quietly, is it?
No,
Minotaur
maybe we should.
sucked hoof, and the Minotaur never doubted. The Minotaur obliged his gargle obligations dreamily. More overt ravishing extemporised the Minotaur, and more overt ravishing is in speech marks. It's what the Minotaur says.
That's right. John Saunders is available for audible narration of Greek mythological pornography.
But nothing else.
Nothing else.
I draw the
He's a
line.
Specialist. Sorry, Ben.
Okay.
There's something here about flogging a dead Minotaur. It's not. I don't think there's anything here.
I don't think we're going to do any better than Bum Steer, mate. That was just too good.
Don't worry, Ben. One day you'll join me in the sun. Should we go to the next library bit, shelf, rack? I don't know.
Yes. Go back to engineering, because that's where Mike started.
Yes.
Okay. So you trot out into a slightly less well-visited part of the library and wind up in the engineering and mathematics section, something that the Greeks were very good at. Again, you look around and you see the combined knowledge of the ancient world, which is, let's be fair, just mostly Greek at this point. They didn't invent all of it, but they were good at writing it down and carrying it forwards. Mm. You notice one papyrus in particular sticking out from the rack.
May we see it?
You may. And I'll pop it into the text channel. Ben, do you want to take this one?
Sure.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I get Minotaur porn. He gets this.
Practical maths with Archimedes.
Jesus.
Ho there, fellows. Your old boy Archimedes, the bloke that brought you the best screw of your life.
Oh, no, we're back.
Know what I mean? I'm back again with some more of my top mathematical engineering and inventoring solutions to life's little problems. We've done measuring the density of gold. We've done levers. And today we're going to do Romans. That's right, bloody Romans. 1 minute you're one minute you're nibbling hummus out of a boy's belly, and the next thing you know, 500 bloody Romans show up in a load of horrible bloody boats.
I'm really enjoying that Mike has written this phonetically, so he's writing bloody, and insists on correcting it.
Yes, look. Yes, they look good in those their skirts, but they're a pain in my ass. Not the type I'd like from old Dickens's, if you know what I mean.
Dickonices.
Dickonices, sorry. And not the type I liked from old Dickonices, if you know what I mean. Anyway, here's how you get rid of the Romans in your harbour. Concave mirrors and a bit of Helios's fine sunlight. Just give a wok a bit of a spit polish, hold it up at the sun, and you can focus the beam into the bloody laser beam that sets fire to the sails. How, you might ask? It's bloody maths and physics in it. You're taking all that lovely diffuse energy and focusing it in on a single point. And you can take my word for it, because I'm Archimedes.
And that appears to be it. You can't fit much on a papyrus. And I thank you, John, for noticing. I did write that phonetically. And then
Ben happened.
Ben butchered it. It should have been, oh there, fellows, hero boy Archimedes here, the bloke who bought you the best screw of your life. Know what I mean? That could have been
my God.
Real bloke in the market stuff.
How have I become the one with the reputation that I will get this show cancelled? How is that me when he's writing this stuff? My God. Okay.
I kind of thought the way I started out, if I suddenly started going bloody, it wouldn't really fit.
Mike, you've lost us the Greek audience, both of them. Okay, so this is instructions on how to do what we've already done.
Done, yes.
Yeah.
But I am very glad that Ben read it again. That was
Okay, shall we go to the third rack?
Okay. You pop over to it's actually sort of the middle rack, but the final one for yourselves. And these appear to be the philosophy and mythology shelves.
Okay.
The Greeks famously loved a bit of philosophy. They invented it, probably. You've got the old Socrates, Plato, all that lot, just sitting around having a good old think all day, and then being like, hey, philosophy. Within the racks of papyri, one particular scroll appears to stick out and grabs your attention.
Can you show it to us?
I absolutely can. Do you want to? You grab it out?
Yes, I grab it out. I grab it out of your rack. Oh, bloody hell.
I'll just put it into the...
Okay. Right, here we go. Title: Philosophy is all just a load of hard questions in it, by Socrates. Hello, it's me. Who, I hear you ask? Good question. That's the Socratic method in action right there, and I invented it, so pay up. 5 drachma will do just fine. Philosophy is just all the hard questions and things, isn't it? How long is a piece of string? What is the sound of one hand clapping? Your regular Greek in the street, bit of hummus on his toga. He hears one of these questions and his humours get all mixed up and he explodes in a shower of flatbread. Shower of flatbread, Jesus Christ. Not me, though. I'm the greatest philosopher probably ever. And I can tell you that one hand clapping don't make no sound because it's just sort of waving in the air. And the bit of string is probably however long you cut it, you silly bugger. Saying that, there's one hard question I haven't been able to answer yet. The Riddle of Samaria. A house on a foundation like the skies. A house one has covered with a veil like a secret box. A house set on a base like a goose. One enters it blind but leaves it seeing. If you have any bright ideas to solve this, send me a self-addressed papyrus with your suggestions, and you won't be able to get it to me because Royal Mail are on bloody strike. And I'll get Plato to send you some plates or something.
The only problem I had with that is that some of the H's were not pronounced and some of them were.
Are you suggesting that my accent was in any way inconsistent, Ben?
Oh, of course not.
And that appears to be it. Once again, you can't fit much
Dreading
rambling on
hearing
bit
that
of papyrus.
back.
I mean, that was just
Okay.
Cockney. That just sounded Cockney to me.
I know.
It
I'm
sounded
not trying to do the
incredibly
weird
like
Greek
the first
thing.
guy that Mike did.
House based on a foundation like the skies. A house one has covered with a veil like a secret box. A house set on a base like a goose. One enters it blind but leaves it seeing. Any ideas, Ben? Based on a foundation like the skies. So, oh, hang on. Is that a boat? A house based on
Oh,
a
are you
foundation like the
thinking-
skies. Blue.
Because like the sea.
House one is covered with a veil like a secret box, a sail. A house set on a base like a goose. No.
Like-
Set on a...
Yeah.
I mean, they
When
swim.
you say it leaves it blind but leaves it seeing, are you
Yeah,
thinking
no.
like leaves on the sea?
Seeing, I feel like I'm reaching with this. I don't think that's it.
It's definitely a phonetic thing that doesn't translate well on papyrus.
If only there were some other formats.
If we have a nip back into each three of the sections again, there's no other papyrus that sort of jump out at us.
I mean, there's a shit ton of papyrus there, but nothing else leaps out at you. If you want to pull some out, I'll happily make some nonsense up, but you have 12 minutes remaining.
Okay, so I think that the Minotaur one is perhaps not important. I think the second one with Archimedes basically tells us what we've already done, and then we don't happen to have 5 drachma on us, do we?
No.
Okay. There's none down the
with a veil.
librarian couch.
Secret box.
No.
Is there anywhere else for us to explore?
I think you've explored pretty much everything you can explore.
Oh, fuck.
Hello, Editing Mike here. So John's "oh fuck" just then is something of a precursor. It all starts going a little bit wrong from here. Not for me, of course, but for John and Ben. Listen and enjoy as they collapse first as puzzle solvers and then as people.
I'm set on a base like a goose. What is a goose on a base? Gooses swim? Gooses? Geese.
What's the phrase about how, that's swans, isn't it?
One enters it blind but leaves it seeing. So, one enters it blind but leaves it seeing. Is this talking about a library?
Ah.
Acquisition of knowledge? But I don't get the rest of it. A house based on a foundation like the skies. I mean, is the foundation of the skies just the earth? A house one has
Lofty,
covered with a
maybe?
veil like a secret box. Like a secret box covered with a veil. Have we seen anything covered with a veil?
No. But then, would you have? Because it would have been covered with a veil.
Fine. True. Okay,
Have we
yep.
seen any veils?
You see no veils, but they've been covered with a veil.
No a veil.
Oh, that's good.
I'm wondering if we need to go back and just try and get that fucking thing out of Urania's hand. What do you think?
I could try.
Yeah, let's give it a bash. And Mike, can I clamber up Urania and try and reach into the Altherma? What was it?
Amphora.
Amphora.
You certainly can. You climb up Urania. She's marble and doesn't mind. And you try and reach into the amphora, which remains sealed. You just kind of caress the outside. You notice it has a slightly weird sheen to it, but nothing else remarkable.
Weird sheen. Could you?
What? Yeah.
What does that mean?
Nothing significant, but it's sort of sheeny.
I wonder if can we try shining some of the light into the into the amphora?
Sure. You get a very well lit amphora.
And I can't open it while he's doing that.
That's correct. I mean, actually, it probably you smell a slight as John's
Burning.
back starts cooking.
How about we light all of the torches?
We have.
No, we've only lit two, the two that were asleep.
I thought the others were already burning.
Nope.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, you light the remaining 6 torches. They are all now lit.
Anything happen?
Anything happen?
The room's gotten slightly brighter.
What was the sign that was on the sofa, the couch again?
This is renewals. Then something about fiction and reference.
It was, this is renewals! And then fiction and reference, you'll find plenty of both in here. And I don't want to send you down a rabbit hole with these, so I will tell you that these are slightly bastardized versions of quotes from the movie 300.
Oh.
And may not be puzzle critical, but did make me smile with the concept of a Spartan librarian.
Uh-huh. Oh, right. Yes. Yes. Okay. No, I'm getting that reference now.
Because they have
Sorry.
big
Throwing me
shields.
down a well. Yeah.
Is there any hummus here?
There is no hummus unless you brought any with you.
I just 2 out of 3 things mention hummus.
Oh, do you have any bright ideas to solve this?
8 minutes remaining. Would you like a clue?
I hate asking for one. I hate it, but I am scratching my head, to be honest. What do you think, Ben? Clue?
Sure.
Clue, please.
Okay. Give you a clue for the riddle. So this isn't a riddle I've written. This is actual genuine Sumerian riddle, which is why
it was good.
Which is why it's a bit it's why it reads well, but it's also simultaneously a bit shit. I'd say that if you wanted to focus on a particular element of it, you might want to focus on the latter part.
Okay, a house set on a base like a goose. One enters it blind but leaves it seeing. The opticians.
That's
Did we
right.
say that together?
Ancient Sumeria, the birthplace of Specsavers.
I'm very happy we both did that at the same time. A house has come with a veil like a secret box. A house set on a base like a goose.
Blind?
Oh, why is it blind but leaves it seeing? All I can think of is library, like for acquisition of knowledge, enters it blind but leaves it seeing. Set on a base like a goose. Is this the part of it that we should be?
I'd say maybe
focusing on?
focus on the latter part.
One enters it blind but leaves it seeing.
Hello, listeners. Editing Mike here. So the critical part of that riddle is one enters it blind but leaves it seeing. You'll find the text for both this riddle and for the story of Minus the Minotaur in the show notes. I'll give you a few moments yourselves to ponder on those. You might find you need a piece of paper to solve the Minus the Minotaur one if you'd like to play along. And if not, I'll give you the solutions to these in a few moments.
Yeah, I keep on going back to library.
Oh, hang on. I'm looking back at the statues of the muses.
Mm-hmm.
Is it blind? Is it seeing? Is this something about like a sequence in which we have to like do something to the statues? And is it blind? But is it seeing?
Oh, it's not something about sleep, is it? That you enter it with your eyes closed, then you wake up seeing.
Fuck! It is.
No, it's not, says Mike.
What?
He's got it. He's shaking his head.
Really? Because that would have been really good. Really good.
No.
I think that's really clever, Ben.
It is really clever. It is really clever.
I mean, apart from set on a base like a goose, which has me just absolutely stumped.
I know. I like that so much. It stayed in.
It wouldn't be a migraine because you might go blind with a migraine. You take paracetamol to get rid of it and come out of the migraine.
Shall I give you a second clue?
Oh, I feel so. Yes.
Okay. Which of your muses are still asleep? You have 2 muses still asleep.
Oh, no,
We awakened Calliope.
Yeah. No, we didn't.
But we awakened Sleepy.
You lit Calliope's torch.
And we woke Urania. And we lit the torch of...
Oh, we have to read the poetry. We have to read the erotic poetry to Calliope and then read the philosophy bit to Sleepy OP. That's what we have to do.
Ah, there we are then.
Hello, Editing Mike again here. So, while I haven't put Ben and Jon out of their misery, let me put you out of yours with some solutions. So, you may have already got it, in which case, jolly good for you. But if you hadn't, the key bit of the Riddle of Samaria, at least as far as I'm concerned, is one enters it blind but leaves it seeing. They were pretty close with a library, but what's similar to a library? A school. A library probably would have been a better answer considering where we've set this. But anyway, if they'd said a school, then the statue would have activated. And by the way, I gave them the clue in that thinking about the muses and the statues, because the appropriate one, Sleepiope, was the patron of learning, school, the rest, the bits are all there. Now, with regards to the homosexual Minotaur erotica and the tale of Minos the Minotaur, if you take a look at the show notes, you'll see that, unlike the other texts, this one is all in caps, and it is basically nonsense. Sexy nonsense, but nonsense. And as Jon correctly guessed at the beginning, it was indeed in a code. So, the story is SEXENFELCHIDES held the Minotaur, arse-kissing enveloped their horns, a long intense age, the Minotaur sucked hoof, and the Minotaur never doubted. The Minotaur obliged his gargle obligations dreamily, more overt ravishing, extemporised the Minotaur. Now, if one was to take the first letters from each of those words and put them down next to each other, one would get some absolute nonsense. Unless one, of course, minuses the Minotaur. Clues in the name, minus the Minotaur. If you take all of the instances of the Minotaur out of the sentence and then use the first letters, you get shake Thalia's hand. Oh God, more. The oh God, more there is just that I added some more Minotaur steaminess. So yes, if they had shaken Thalia's hand, then the statue would have activated. And just this, and solving the riddle, was all they needed to do to solve the room. And as you're about to hear, they get achingly close. But anyway, let's rejoin them at their flailing.
So I'm going to take the erotic poetry, run off to Calliope and say and read it. SEXENFELCHIDES held the Minotaur, arse-kissing enveloped their horns, a long intense age. The Minotaur sucked hoof, and the Minotaur never doubted. The Minotaur obliged his gargle obligations dreamily. More overt, ravishing, extemporised the Minotaur.
Nothing happens.
Fuck.
Again, I'll direct you to the two asleep muses. Why not take a look at one of their patronages?
Patronages?
What, the erotic poetry for Calliope?
If you look at the text I sent you originally for the muses, it showed you which was asleep, which was awake, their name, and the bit of the arts that they are the patron of.
Yeah, so you just wrote...
Calliope erotic poetry?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so... right, so but I've just read the erotic poetry to the erotic poetry.
I think you've decided that reading erotic poetry to a marble statue is what's needed here.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you give it. Give it to Papyrus?
Do I have to give it to Calliope?
You give it to Calliope. You've now put a bit of papyrus on an otherwise inert marble statue. Why not focus on the other one for a moment?
Sleepiope.
Okay, learning.
So
sleep. We take the scroll from Archimedes and give it to Sleepiope. Where do we give it though? What do we
shove it up its arse?
It's marble. They've not carved an arsehole.
Shame.
Does she have an thermo thingy or a torch? She's got a torch. We don't burn it in the torch, do we?
I wouldn't. There's probably only one copy.
Okay, let's not do that. Oh God. How do we give it to her then? Do we read it? No, reading it didn't work with the other one.
Supposing that we had read it.
Nothing would have happened.
Okay.
I think you were on the right lines with solving the riddle earlier. You were very, very close to a solution. And I'd like to draw your attention once more to the patronages of the muses who are still asleep.
Does it blind but leaves it seeing?
Oh, can I read the erotic Minotaur text to Sleepiope, please?
You do. Nothing happens.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe because they were blind to the other ones.
Oh.
But no.
Can I read the riddle to Sleepiope?
You can. Nothing would happen.
He's learning. He's asleep.
Music, comedy, history. What pieces? She's asleep. How did we wake up Calliope?
We didn't.
She's still asleep. We woke up Urania by lighting all the torches.
Like the torch of Calliope.
And Urania.
And now all of the torches are lit. Are we able to extinguish the torches then anyway?
You could if you wanted to. I wouldn't suggest you need to, but you can if you'd like to.
That's fine.
Oh, there's something. I feel like it's staring us in the face, and we're not seeing it somehow.
They don't have like masks on or anything like that, do they?
No. Ben, if I can encourage you to perhaps return to one of your earlier guesses as to the solution to the riddle, which was library. And then to perhaps consult the patronages of the...
Okay,
users.
so one of them, Sleepy Obey, is the patron of learning, which surely is what a library is all about.
Yes, or that could go engineering and maths, or it could go the philosophy and mythology. Do we take it to the library?
Massively overcomplicating this. You just need to solve the riddle.
Just solve the riddle.
When is it blind and leaves it seeing?
Oh,
Could we say...
Can we just shout library in front of them?
Yeah, sure. Nothing happens, you weirdo.
Oh.
When does it blind?
Believes the seeing.
Oh, could we? Could I close my eyes, walk into the library, and turn around again with my eyes open and leave it?
Editing Mike here. This was definitely the moment where I realised that while the puzzle was zigging, Ben and Jon were very much zagging. No? I mean, you walk around in a circle, you bump into a shelf.
Oh.
Let's think of
literal.
other places where one might do the things that you have described, Ben and Jon.
Flutes, music,
When you
comedy,
say-
pastoral poetry,
Do
astronomy.
Other places where you previously said a library. Other places that would fulfill similar criteria. You've used all
Temple?
the words.
I've now entirely forgotten everything that I've said.
Me too.
Consider Sleepy Ape and her patronage.
Learning like
Patron
a
of learning.
school.
So,
A school!
Oh.
Okay.
Is there a collection of fish here?
Bear with me for a second. As you utter the word school, you hear the grinding of stone, and the statue of Sleepy Ope grinds an unseen mechanical doodad, and she moves. The eyelids slowly open, and the unlit torch raises towards the ceiling with its fellows.
Jon, where would you find erotic poetry?
Soho.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
Oh, God. Where do I find erotic poetry? At the top shelf. The internet. Bad places.
Would you
I
like a
don't know.
clue with the erotic poetry? In 26 seconds.
It's not local
Greeks.
cafes, is it?
I would suggest looking at the title of the erotic poetry
Oh, SEXENFELCHIDES.
and
Oh, minus the Minotaur. Minus the Minotaur.
and a very simple sentence-based puzzle cipher. One I might have actually sneakily trailed for you last week. And that's time!
Yes, oh, God.
A smash behind you steals your attention, and you turn to see the door that you originally shoved through is being smashed in by 100 ravening barbarians. The biggest and barbarianist runs up to Jon and waggles his scimitar. Have we made it before closing?
Oh.
You were thinking a bad accent was coming. Have we made it before closing? We've got some scrolls we need to return, and we don't want to run up another late fee. Also, have you got the new Homer in? The Iliad was an absolute dream. Real scroll turner. The barbarian horde starts shucking their packs off and grabbing tattered papyri from their tunics.
Barbarians would be much less threatening if they travelled in herds.
And form an orderly queue at the librarian station. Isn't that nice? They weren't here to burn and sack the place after all. A quiet grinding sound draws your attention back as the statues of the muses slowly extend their torches, draw them back, and then fling them into the racks. Your ham-fisted puzzle solving appears to have greatly angered the goddesses of literature, science, and the arts. Happy Opie, the patron goddess of Haynes manuals, flips you the bird. Papyrus, as you'll know, is mega flammable, and there is a mighty explosion. You dive behind a particularly thick pile of Minotaurus eroticus, escaping the blast, but watch with horror as it destroys the wall's ceiling and sets every scroll around you ablaze. A barbarian staggers groggily to his feet. I bet we'll get the blame for this, he grumbles. From the rubble you hear the cry of a Spartan librarian. You see a mad-eyed Spartan in fussy spectacles pelting after you with a spear. Even worse, he appears to have bought 299 of his friends. Spartans, what is your profession? He cries. Librarians! They respond in perfect military unison. They approach you, spears at the ready. To be continued, and you have not solved my puzzle.
Okay, where did we fuck this up then?
I'm wondering whether we should have done one or two things. I'm wondering, should we have sworn at Calliope?
No.
Okay, my reasoning there was that if you took everyone that was asleep, you had Calliope, Urania, and Sleepiope, that sort of spells cuss. So that was where I was going for with that. I've also got Shit Ankathal, Ayat, Shattened, Tong, Odmore.
Ah, that's interesting, Ben. How did you get to that?
So I took the first letter of all of the minus the Minotaur, so SHTA for SEXENFELCHIDES held the ARSE rather than the Minotaur ARSE. But it was a little bit too... I didn't have enough time then to kind of go, okay, there's a cipher here. What do I need to do?
Ben, you were blisteringly close. Blisteringly close. If you'd followed that thread to its logical end, you would have got the letters SHAKETHALISHANDOHGODMORE.
As I said, Shat Ankathal Yat Shattened Thong More.
Which,
Shake
if you put spaces
Thalia's
in...
hand. Oh, God, more.
Hang on, shake. Oh, because minus the Minotaur.
Minus
As
the
in-
Minotaur.
As in, not minus Minotaur.
Yep. So it's
Okay.
the title of the scroll was minus the Minotaur. If you take the words the Minotaur out of that poem and then just take a look at the first letters, you get.
Oh, I knew it was nonsense. I knew it was.
And I queued that up last week when I sent a puzzle where I'd done the exact same thing in the guest book of the place we were staying in Lancashire into the tier chat. To be honest, the one I thought that was going to really fox you was the Sumerian riddle, because it's a genuine Sumerian riddle. It's shit. But I figured if I gave you the last bit, if I just like focus on the last bit, I figured you could probably get there. And you were so close. And you were like, a library. I was like, hey, other places that people learn? And you were like, I want to go and talk to the statues again. I see. Okay. Okay.
I think for
Michael,
me,
if you pitched it a bit different and said, think about, not so much the places people learn, but the places people get ruined. We'd have come to school.
I think for some reason when and you said mechanical, so I shouldn't have thought any different. But when we lit Calliope's torch and then Urania moved, I was like, there's something lifelike about these statues. I think that was the problem I had. And the problem I had with minus the Minotaur is quite often you'll say minus the Minotaur as in like take off Minotaur. That's how generally I'd read that, and not minus the Minotaur, if that makes sense.
I think we were just a bit too thick for this, to be honest.
Good name for a Minotaur.
Good.
I thought it was a good name for a Minotaur. I was really pleased with that one. I must admit, the minus the Minotaur one was a bit. I thought you guys absolutely crucified the whole bit with the mirror shield. I was like, I'm going to do the whole Archimedes experiment thing, and Ben was just like, I know this.
Well, Jamie did something similar in the museum the other week.
Fuck. Really?
Not setting stuff on
Mike,
fire.
you really should listen to this podcast.
I'm sure he did. Weren't you there?
Which one are you thinking of?
We were in, and there was the ships.
Are you thinking the one of Revolutionary America?
Maybe didn't that have like some doodads where you had to bounce light?
Oh, I think we had to do a bit of bounce lighting, but not like lighty focusy.
No, but it was So I was like, immediately, I was like, oh, we've done this recently.
Oh, goddamn. Oh, I'm going to have to listen to that now. But yeah,
I might be forgetting slightly.
No, so a bit of this that didn't make it into the puzzle because it would have just made it too complicated and actually relates to the whole mechanical nature of it. Are you familiar with I think it's called the Anti-Carrithian Machine?
No.
So the Greeks were basically the first people to make a computer.
Oh, this is the thing that they found underground, under the sea.
Yeah. Oh, Anti-Chiron, something like that. It's incredible. It's like, it's brass cogs before cogs were cool, and it works. Or at least it would work. They reckon it would work because obviously it came out very rusted in a big lump. But yeah, they had the technology. It was pretty amazing. And when this came out, it blew people's minds away.
It's frightening because we have a view of history that it's just a sort of pretty general progression forwards, that people now live with more knowledge than people who used to live, and that's just the way of the world, and that's a hard and fast rule. But it's really not. And there's been several points in history where there's been a huge backward step and an awful lot has been lost, and then takes 1,000 years to recover.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much due one.
What is the sorry, could you say the shakes thing again?
Shakes thing?
Minus the Minotaur. What is that supposed to say when you take the first letter of each word?
Let me try. Now he said it. Let me try. So it would be SHAKE. So shake, THALIA. Shake Thalia.
No. Okay, right. Yeah, no.
SHAND. Shake Thalia's hand. OHGOD. Oh God. MORE.
Oh, because that T isn't there.
Yeah, I thought I'd add some more sexy Minotaur times. Hence, oh God, more.
Okay, yeah, no, I so at the very end, and I was doing it as you were making up the ending.
Oh, that's tragic. I would almost correct on it, but I won't.
The thing that threw me was the fact that I hadn't, like I say, I was minusing
Minotaur.
the Minotaur, and not.
Ben, if you'd said that you were doing this, I might have jumped in. Maybe it's minus the Minotaur. But the first I'm hearing about this is after we've failed. I had this theory that almost worked, but I thought I wouldn't mention it. Damn it!
Well, no, because it for me when you put in the T's for the. It made literally no sense. It made no sense. And when Mike said there was a cipher, I was like, I've got to start shifting letters around.
Oh shit! Did I say cipher? Apologies.
You did say cipher.
Fuck. Sorry, my bad.
I was like, I've got no idea. I was hurriedly looking for numbers we've been given to shift letters by.
Oh fuck! Apologies. That's my fail. That's my bad.
That's all right.
No, to be fair, I think the unfair bit of this was because you guys got hung up for a long time on the riddle, but I couldn't resist putting in an ancient riddle. I think the last bit is pretty good because I figure with the last bit, you enter blind and leave seeing, or something. You've got limited.
I'm saying optician should have been a legitimate answer.
The whole riddle is the answer school.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you explain all the bits that are not the last sentence?
Okay, no. Okay, so no, there's.
This is great, Ben. This is recovering some of our honour.
Okay, no, so stuff about. So there's this whole philosophical guff about it, with the house being based on foundation, like the skies. It's all about the foundational knowledge and things like that. And these are things that don't translate. Set on a base like a goose. No fucking idea whatsoever. Veil, like a secret box. No idea. But one enters it blind and leaves it seeing. I was like, that's the bit.
And a house based on a foundation like the skies. Again, I feel like of this riddle, Michael, of the 4 phrases, only the last one meant anything.
And did I direct you to it pretty smartish?
You did. You did.
Did you then go, can I go into the engineering aisle and walk into a shelf? Why don't you try solving the riddle? I think I want to go and caress the statue.
Yeah.
What's an amphora?
This is fair.
What?
I accept full responsibility for this. It's the host's job to get his people through, and I've failed you.
Oh, now you know how it feels.
What?
This is great. Mike's never had. I've had this several times. Mike's never had it, and I'm really enjoying the sort of the mix of pride and also shame.
Yeah, it's mostly shame.
Just quickly, this is why I didn't like the whole let's have negative ending things, because I think I've had people almost fail. I can't remember if I have had people fail, and it feels rubbish. It's like how have I failed these people?
Well, no, you haven't failed them, because you know who you haven't failed. You haven't failed the audience, because the audience will, I guarantee you, be screaming at the car radio or wherever they're listening. Because it's so obvious from the outside, and it will be obvious from the outside. I'm dreading listening to this one, partly for my terrible attempt at Cockney, but also because I know that on listening back, the answer is going to be right in front of us, and it's going to be painful hearing us orbit it like a ruined satellite.
Yeah, I'll put some fun music on or something under that bit.
The Benny Hill theme.
Yeah. So the good ending was very, very similar. You'll be remarkable. You'll be crazy to hear, except that you escaped. Except in this regard, you haven't. You're in the ruins of the library, surrounded by Spartan librarians who are going to Spartan you.
Now we have them in retrospect. I did enjoy the 300 references.
Yeah, I didn't realize they might be red herrings until a bit later, and I was like, surely they'll realize these are just. Oh no, this does seem like the sort of shit I'd pull. It's not important. Not important.
Mike sent a video to the WhatsApp group earlier, and I was like, "Is this going to be?
Oh no, is this it?"
Yeah,
he did send me a weird text 6 months ago. Let me go and find that.
I didn't have time to look at it either. I was like, "Shit, I'm going to this blind."
No, to be fair as well,
I am seeing.
I did add an extra 5 minutes on with this because I did figure it was going to be a bit more complicated than usual, and I maybe should have added another 5 on because I think with another 5 you would have solved it. And you were a 2 rather than a 3. And it's definitely harder solving as a 2 rather than a 3.
It is. You don't, and I've observed this in real escape room teams as well. Like 2s can get stuck because they get stuck in a rut on something, and they don't have that third person to just come in from the outside and blow it up.
The thing is that from what I've seen just in this is that 2 people have a back and forth with each other, and there's no time to think, because you're listening to respond. And when you have a third person,
you have some downtime.
I've often noticed on here that one person
quietly solves things in the background.
Like Laura is a really good one because she will not say an awful lot and then be like, "I've solved it."
Yeah, that's Laura in Actual Escape Room as well. She's like a little computer. You just bring her in.
Yeah,
she stays silent for 5 minutes and then she goes, "Sausages," and 6 secret doors open.
And there are other people as well that are naturally quieter when there's 3 of you. And it depends on the combination as well, because sometimes they might be one of the 2 that are a bit talky. But
if I remember rightly, Ben, I think we've been on as a pair before, and I think we were quite bad then too. I don't think we make a very good team.
Next time I see you on, I will decline.
Okay.
So thank you very much for listening. You can subscribe to us on all of your favourite apps, feeds, iTunes, and at our website, www.theinfiniteescaperoom.com. You can follow us and get in touch via Facebook and Twitter at @tier_podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, and we hope you did, then fabulous. Why not order it on a custom pair of socks? And then just kind of walk around.
Yes, why don't you order minus the Minotaur, the poem, on some socks?
Which will be available via our Etsy store. If you'd like to show your support for the show, then you can also join our Patreon program. We have a range of different doodads for it. You can get early released episodes, unedited episodes, bonus material.
I even did an unedited episode last time.
John did an unedited episode. We're as surprised as anybody. John does unedited episodes, but we just don't publish them a lot of the time because of the things that happen in the unedited episodes. Which is, by the way, a choice that John makes. It's not something that we
lightly edited episodes.
We've all done a lightly edited episode. This is getting edited out, or is it? Probably not, because I'll forget. If you'd like to join us for a little £1 a month, you can do so over at patreon.com/theinfiniteescape.
Why didn't you just say jar?
Yes, why didn't you just say jar? Not Amfonso, or
It was an amphora. It's very specific.
Is that a kind of jar?
Yeah.
Jam or something?
We love you lots. We'll see you next time on the Infinite Escape Room. Bye-bye now.
Bye.